Welcome everyone, broadcasting from the Wraith Game Studio. This is the N3rd podcast. I am your host, Rich Kiefer, joined today by Matthew Fry and Lance T. Miller.
How y'all doing?
What's up?
All right, now, since this is one of our this is the first episode, actually, we are only going to be talking about video games for this first episode, and the topic in particular, video games in 2019. So we're going to cover an array of topics within that. This is kind of a broad topic, so we will break it down in more specific topics as the show goes on. To those of us who are joining us this inaugural episode, you might be asking, what is the N3rd podcast? We are a group of friends who enjoy anything nerdy, from comic books, movies, books, board games, and video games. Each week, we will have in-depth conversations about different aspects of nerd culture. And this episode, we are talking about video games in 2019. Now, since we got the introductions all squared away, if you want to tell the audience a little bit about yourself before we...
Okay.
Get on here.
Well,
So,
we're starting.
Fry, we'll start with you.
Yeah, starting off. My name's Fry. Make all the Futurama jokes you want. I've heard it all. I play everything, man. Play it on PC, play it on the consoles. I play some real old stuff too. I've got an Atari in my bedroom.
You are the video game crackhead of the group.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's very few games I haven't played, and if I don't play them, it's for a particular reason.
All right. And then Lance.
I'm Lance T. Miller. I am kind of a jack of all trades in this arena. I'm an illustration artist and graphic designer, first off and foremost. Work on board games and video games. I'm actually 2D art director at the Wraith Games Studio, which is where we're broadcasting from. And I have industry contacts that grant me a lot of insider knowledge. Beyond that, Fry and I both have discovered that we know most of the obscure references that other people do not. And so
Yeah, you do.
You'll hear some of those come out.
Yeah, if we're giggling amongst ourselves and you don't get it, that's okay.
There's going to be a lot of that.
Just drop us a line. We'll clue you in.
All right. Then myself, I have an eclectic taste when it comes to games. I, was primarily a console gamer. Starting out, then switched over to the PC.
Big fan of those Hannah Montana games.
Oh yeah, you know it.
I mean, you were the one who said you're, the crack addict when it comes
Oh,
to
yeah.
Yeah.
So probably you played that.
No. But I have played a Barbie game or two.
See, he plays the shit that no one else wants to play here. But yeah, I mean, so I primarily do PC now. I'm kind of going back to the consoles. I just, I'm kind of over the whole tinkering with my rig, try to get the best settings possible now. I just want to sit down and play. I'm getting old and lazy.
Speaking of obscure games, did you guys ever play the 9 to 5 NES game?
No.
What, business? Businessman?
No, based on 9 to 5, the TV show.
No, I didn't know that was a thing. What the?
No, the closest thing I know to that is like the businessman or what was it, Wall Street Kid, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Wall Street Kid. God, that was a horrible game.
And then that, what was that thing with Beat Takashi where it was just him going around the city and doing menial tasks?
Oh,
yeah. That's history. That's 20, 30-year-old games.
That's 30-year-old games. We're talking about games that are coming out this year, 2019.
Yep.
All right, let's start off, Fry. What is the game that you are looking forward most in 2019?
It starts right at the beginning of the year, man. It's Resident Evil 2.
Resident Evil 2, the remake
of probably one of the greatest games of the PS1 era. And it's universally considered
arguably
the greatest
one of
game of that series.
Yeah.
It's usually either Resident Evil 2 or Resident Evil 4, so it's you pick Leon or you pick Leon.
Personally,
because everyone likes Leon.
Yeah, personally for me, 2 is probably, and out of those two I like better than 4, but
yeah.
I have a soft spot for 3.
3 is definitely my favorite, but 2 also has Mr. X, so I like Mr. X.
I think it was 2 for me, honestly.
When I was a kid, I had nightmares about the alligator. So seeing it remastered,
it's terrifying.
Like I was
shit.
in elementary school, I think, either elementary school or junior high when 2 came out, and I went over to my friend Brad's house to play it, and he was in the sewer section, so I missed the whole beginning. He's like, "Oh man, this game's so cool!" Da, 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 da. And then that alligator comes out of little trash pit and bites you or tries to bite you.
Did you crap your pants?
I almost did.
See, for me, the pants shitting moment for me was the dogs.
Oh yeah,
when they bust through the glass and then they just coming after you. That scared the piss out of me when I was a kid.
Arguably one of the leaders into that whole jump scare genre.
Well, the funny thing was,
it's one of the earliest.
I never played one until
really.
I didn't play one until around the time of Code Veronica. I completely missed one.
See, I'm the opposite. I played 2 first, and then 2 got me back into 1. But that was only after I played 2 when it was released, pretty close to launch time. Then I went back and played 1. Shortly before 3 came out.
I played 2, and then I played 3 New Year's Eve with a friend when that came out. And then I went back and then I collected them in reverse.
Wow. I was working at a store called Game Crazy when Resident Evil 1 came out.
Rest in peace.
Rip Game Crazy. Yeah. But I remember being really psyched because I loved the franchise. It was always so just different than everything else that was out there at the time.
Yeah. Yeah, it was...
And the very B-level horror movie voice acting and tropes.
Well, the live-action cutscenes that were only in the first one. And it was so cheesy. And
to this day, I forget the actual cutscene. I love when the cutscene's over and then it introduces all the characters and they're just standing there doing poses. And it's that one deep voice actor is Barry Burton. It's okay.
And Barry didn't do shit that whole game.
Yeah, he did 2 things. But anyway,
the voiceovers definitely got
the remake
too. I mean, just the change between 1 and 2 was measurable.
Yeah,
and that's they've remade 1 already, and they've remastered 0 and a couple other ones. Imagine complete from the ground up remake of 2, just how much it's going to blow everybody away.
Well, but
I'm really excited,
and I think it's 7 finally brought the series back to horror, which is what it really needed. This one, even though you kind of know what to expect, I bet this one's going to scare the pants off people.
They got really campy halfway through.
4 set a tone of action, even though 4 still had horror elements. It's here. It's more action oriented, and actually by the end of the game, you're launching rockets, and it
4 was the.
It started out horror and then got action.
4 was the beginning of the action adventure phase of Resident Evil. 4, 5, and 6. I look at the series in 2 ways. 1, 2, and 3 was the horror trilogy that was kind of the roots of it.
And Veronica's kind of in the middle.
Yeah, and then 4 shifts to an action phase. 4, 5, and 6. Pretty much action games with horror elements. Then 7 obviously was the
reboot. Well, in a sense, it was rebooting the series.
Yeah, but that was more of a sorry we fucked up game.
Yeah,
apologizing for 6 because 6 was actually I think still is the best selling Resident Evil game, but it's the most widely panned. It's hilarious.
And that's out of everyone I know. I think I'm the only one that likes 6. It's horrible.
Yeah,
story-wise, it's a freaking mess.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. Actually, I'll say this. I enjoyed Leon's campaign.
I was going to say, did you enjoy the gameplay more, or did you enjoy
the gameplay was solid.
Line?
The gameplay was solid in all of them, in 4, 5, and 6. Except for the fact you couldn't move and shoot in 5, but that's a whole other thing.
But the storyline was really disjointed.
Yeah, but Leon's story in 6 was amazing because it went back to zombies and it was dark, all his levels are dark. It's scary. His campaign felt like a horror game.
Yeah.
Chris's story still felt like 5. It was an action game, and then Wesker's kid.
You just kind of herp-derping along.
Jake. His story was. I don't even know why that existed.
And Ada's was a mess.
Ada's was okay, but it was so confusing because it was her and then her clone, and I wasn't sure who was. Yeah, 6 was a mess.
But the theme here is Leon's was the best.
Leon's the best of the original trilogy. Leon's the best of the action trilogy.
Agreed. I mean, that's the most consistent.
So Leon is probably going to be the best of the reboot.
Who happens to be
the remake.
He happens to be the main character of Resident Evil 2. So, besides...
Well, and Claire. I have a soft spot for Claire.
But besides looking
Are you sure it's not a hard spot?
Could be.
But besides,
They changed her jacket. I am pissed about that.
looking forward to Resident Evil 2, besides, the iconic moments and the stuff that we already know. They are remixing it. They are remixing it. Mr. X looks different.
Yeah. And that's someone said, I haven't played the demo, surprisingly, because I want to go in completely blind, but someone said that the liquor scene's completely different. Like, you go into the same hallway, and as a previous player, you expect him to be on the ceiling. Like, the dead body is apparently still there, but the liquor arrives in a completely different way.
He arrives a little bit later in that scene, if I
just to throw you off, which almost makes me scared of Mr. X, because I remember he gets dropped in through the ceiling right in front of you. So I'm wondering if that'll be completely different.
Yeah, no, I don't think anything's come out with him.
They've been focusing a lot on Leon.
Yeah.
Not so much Claire.
And you could file this under rumor, news, speculation, take it with a grain of salt, but Nemesis product leaks have come out with Nemesis might be in it.
Yeah, there's been strong hinting towards the Nemesis character making an appearance again.
Which, if you read the comics over in Japan, they had comics and the limited run came out here.
I know the whole series.
Mr. X
backstory.
Yeah, Mr. X and Nemesis get into it.
Yeah.
And we may see that in this game, which is kind of cool. And obviously this will probably lead into a remake of 3.
Nemesis actually technically is a Mr. X just with the parasite in it.
Right.
So.
But it's interesting that they're including him, because is that going to be like the ending of 2 / prequel to 3?
Yeah. I wonder if 3 will have its own remake, or if 3 will be like DLC. It's like, oh, here's Resident Evil 3, but it's DLC.
Capcom is not doing that well financially, so they probably will need to make a 3 full game.
Yeah. If they make their own game, man, I'll be playing the hell out of that.
Yeah.
But I will say, one thing I'm curious about this game, and it's my biggest problem with 1 and 2, both versions of 1 and 2. I'm hoping that this one does away with the 2 different campaigns, which might be blasphemous to people. I would like it if it was all just one thing, and it's like, here's Leon, you play as him, and when we need to cut away for the story, you play as Claire. Just do it all in one shot. I don't want to boot up Leon's campaign, play all the way through it, and play through Claire's campaign all the way through it. I just don't... I never cared for that, and I didn't like it in 1 as...
I don't know.
Either.
I mean, there's been a lot of games that have that same kind of setup where you play through as one character, and then once you've gotten through the whole storyline, you go back and you play through the other character, and getting that additional point of view and starting to understand why things unraveled the way they did. Or
some games it works. I just always felt like it felt weird with Resident Evil, because it was like, oh, I know Leon was here literally 5 minutes ago, but I don't see him. It's like, yeah, sure. You did that because of the limitations of the hardware.
Right, really careful with your timing.
Yeah.
There is a lot of suspension of disbelief.
If there's the 2 separate campaigns, I just hope there's more crossover, because there's like 2 or 3 scenes in the original where Claire and Leon meet up. I want more of that, because the book, they interact with each other more.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, I kind of want it.
I also
better.
think that a lot of that came down to like their initial budget for actors and voiceover actors as well.
Probably for timing and everything.
Yeah, and then like you said, the hardware restrictions. The more that they're getting into the newer versions of these games, you're seeing more of the characters brought out. They allude to a lot of the original content.
Well, and now that the story's for the most part fleshed out, it's like, before 2 came out, they didn't know anything about 3.
Right.
Or that was probably in development, but they didn't stick it in the game. Now it's like, oh, yeah, we can show the Nemesis. Who knows? Maybe we might see Jill. If they showed Jill, I'm going to lose my goddamn mind. But, yeah, that's my top. That's
top game.
Yeah.
See, my top game, actually, sticking on the same theme, but not quite zombie-ish game, Days Gone by Bend Studio. Sony Bend is doing that one. Yeah, this is their first PS4 game.
I can't remember who was making it, but yeah,
I think it's Sony Bend.
Well, they've been teasing it for 3 years now?
Good while now, and it's coming out next year. I think it's April now. It's been pushed to April instead of February, because that February time slot is stacked. But yeah, with Days Gone, what makes that hype for me is how many zombie/freakers, I think that's what they're calling them, is freakers in this game. How many they can get on screen at once? It's insane. It's
it's that kind of swarmy
yeah
World War Z movie version where it's piles just coming after you.
But it's not just that. Like, the map is so big, they're giving you a motorcycle to ride around on because the map is going to be so huge.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool to see what we can do with the motorcycle stuff.
I will admit that is a trend that I don't know. I'm getting sick of that.
I do like the idea, though, that at least in this case, the zombies are evolving.
Yeah.
They're not just, the mindless, arms out, like, brains. This is a horde that is literally chasing you down, and you have to fight for survival. You are going
to lose.
And the AI on it is fantastic, too, because the demo that I saw, if you go up on top of a someplace high, trying to get the high ground, it doesn't matter because they stack upon each other and try to get to you. So they can't use ladders and all that, but they still try to get to you by sacrificing themselves, building a tower.
That game had a level of geomodding, right? So they could just take the building out from under you too.
Yeah.
So you could be up high, and it's like, okay, well, we'll just take out the struts.
But what makes it interesting to me, though, is the weather system. Red Dead messes with it a little bit, but they have that game's more broken out. And okay, here's the snowy area, here's the plains area, here's the desert area. This one, after X amount of time in the game, it starts to snow. And then you not have to worry about zombies, you have to worry about
the environment. So it's because it's going to slow you down.
Yeah. So that gets interesting because then you can't really use your motorcycle as much, so you got to travel on foot.
Yeah.
You got to worry about the cold and zombies. So that's more interesting than
I like that survival aspect of it.
It's more about survival.
Exactly. And there's a lot of that real world type of scenario in there. Like, okay, I got to find footwear. I have to find clothes. I have to find weapons.
And what really emphasizes
that is... the only fucker with feet smaller than my sister.
Whoops.
You get that one?
Yeah.
But what really emphasizes that is there are survivors that you come across in that world. So they can be friend, they can be foe.
You just kill them.
You just kill them.
Because eventually they'll betray you. You just kill them.
So it becomes Grand Theft Auto with zombies, essentially. Or Sons of Anarchy with zombies is what many people are calling it.
Going back to the map thing, the thing I worry about is with these maps getting bigger and bigger with games, at some point there's going to be games like this where the two of us are not going to have the same story because there might be a portion of the map you never visited. It's like the horde may have pushed you in a direction that it didn't push me.
That's true.
I do like that. And then you're going to have to go back and replay it to discover those other areas, discover a lot of the Easter eggs.
It just makes me... I like it, but I don't like it. Because it's like, I miss knowing maps like the back of my hand. And we're getting to that age where you're not going to be able to know.
We're already at that point.
Every studio is pushing to have larger and larger maps.
Yeah.
That's one of the primary concerns that we heard at the last convention was that maps have gotten to be so small and predictable that people are losing their interest in them. So they want more open, larger format maps with a lot more chance to completely change the outcome of the game based on your interaction with only certain portions of that map. So I think this is where Sony Bend is coming in strong on this game. And
as long as there's still a limit. I mean, there does at some point have to be a limit, and it's like, okay, now it's just too damn big.
Well, yeah, like what was that procedural map game that was really huge? The one where you could explore the galaxy and maybe never end up on
No Man's Sky?
No Man's Sky.
That was... It's starting to live up to its promise, but that was... When you realize it's just an algorithm that takes the same planet, turns it a little different. It's basically you have 20 different planets. Basically,
execution not so much.
You have maybe 20 different planets, but repeated hundreds of times. It's impressive for an indie studio of that size, which I believe is 10 to 15 people. Hello Games, but the execution was, on launch was pretty bad. And
Yeah, see, I like stuff like what I'm currently playing is Hitman 2.
yeah,
And those maps for Hitman 2 are insane. I mean, Hitman 2016, the maps were already ginormous.
yeah.
But at this stage, 2 years later, I know all of Season 1 like the back of my hand. I know every inch, wherever to pick up all these items. I can blow through that game, no problem.
And Season 2 is probably not like that.
Season 2, there are still areas of Miami, which is the first level they've shown off, that I still haven't seen. I'm missing like 1 or 2 areas, and I've done all the mission, or all the, what do they call it, the mission stories. I've done most of the challenges. Like, man, this is huge. But it's like, that's, in my mind, that would be the way to go, where it's like, here's a big map. It's not super big, but get to learn this, and then you move on to the next one. Then you get to learn that. If you just throw a huge map at someone all at once, it's going to be overwhelming.
Yeah.
I almost feel like if you're going to have a Days Gone map, ease them into it. It's like,
exactly. Like release it a bit at a time.
Yeah, because if you do it all at once, someone's going to go, I don't know what to do.
Well, that's tough, right? Because so many people are spending much more time gaming these days. And a lot of them like to pick one and really dive deep. And so,
yeah, I'm kind of a dying breed, I guess.
Same here, yeah.
See, I like to play them all, so it's I'll play it. I'll play it, and then it's like, oh crap, a new game came out. Well, I got to drop this other one and play the next one.
Yeah, well, I'm not
so
saying
I'm rushing through the story to get to the next game.
But you're not a dying breed. It's just there's a transition in the mentality of gamers from, okay, I'm going to play every single game that comes out, to now I want to invest myself in
to one game.
They
game that really has
pick their niche.
A deep immersion.
Which I just fell into that, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. But I know a game that you play a lot, Lance.
Uh-huh.
You play a couple games a lot, but what game or games are you looking forward to in 2019?
In 2019?
If it's what I'm thinking, I don't want to speak for you, but
What are you thinking?
Well, I'm thinking, obviously, you're going to invest more into Fortnite.
Well, yeah.
Rocket
the
League.
wife and I got hooked into Fortnite. I'm not going to lie. We've spent probably a stupid amount of money.
Well, you should switch gears to the better version. It's called Blackout. It's so much more polished, so much better. It still only has the one map right now.
What I do like about Fortnite is that the developers are paying really close attention to other IP that's on the market.
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, a lot of their base came from a game that we used to play competitively called Tribes Ascend. And one of the limited time modes that they put out gives you a jetpack. Well, when we had a jetpack and we're in Fortnite, we had a distinct advantage over anybody else who had never played with a jetpack.
Mm-hmm.
So they're bringing that in. They're bringing elements of even of Rocket League in.
Really?
Yeah, they just released a
like
vehicle with a jet on the back that you could actually catch air with and fly up and over top of things. It's called the Quad Crasher or something like that. Now, it's not quite designed for that element, but the fact of being able to fly with a vehicle.
So that's probably what they need to do
was intrinsic to Rocket League to start with, but now they're adopting it
to get their own little corner of the market. That's probably what they need to do, is create their own identity of this weird mix match game.
Well, yeah, all have to
because
create
when Fortnite first came out, I'll be completely honest, the base Fortnite game can.
The PvE
one?
Whoa. Can go suck itself.
Whoa. I enjoyed Save the World before it became a thing.
But the Battle Royale, it's like, okay, I'll give it credit. It was far better than PUBG. But it's like, now, even though I'm not a big COD guy, Black Ops 4's Blackout mode is so much better than Fortnite.
Black Ops has evolved so much.
Yeah.
Like, we used to play...
Well, it went downhill, and now it's back on the upward swing.
So we used to play Counter-Strike competitively.
Yeah, I still
my wife
do.
and I. And then we switched up to Tribes Ascend and a bunch of these other things. And then Blops came out, and we were playing that for a while. None of them really grabbed us. And I think the primary thing, like with Fortnite, that's grabbing most of the attention of everybody is the scalability of your character's look and just the visual features.
Watch me dance.
It's really dumb. It is. It's actually
everybody flossing now because of that stupid
I have
game.
to get this.
So the way I'm looking at it right now is, let's be completely honest. PUBG's dead. Black Ops is going the almost serious route of battle royales.
Exactly.
Fortnite, if we compare it to a few years
It's
ago,
the TF2 of battle royale
well,
games.
here's how I'm looking at it is Black Ops is Grand Theft Auto, whereas Fortnite's becoming Saints Row. It's becoming the goofy battle royale, whereas the other one's the serious.
There's
a
lot of
just
different. What I will tell you this:
that's
Fortnite
evident.
has done an amazing job of taking the game from just the game world and bringing it into the real world. They actually developed an entire ARG, an alternative reality game, that was played to find your way through the most recent season. And they put elements that were lost from the video game trailer from the season into the real world and let people go find them. And then when you found them, it unlocked
Did you have to parachute onto the building?
No, you didn't have to parachute onto the building. I mean, I would have loved
that would have
it,
been
right?
awesome.
But no, there were all these kinds of puzzles that were real world puzzles, and I'm an ARG fanatic. I love ARGs. I've participated in like the Doritos ARG campaign. There was one for a TV show called Fallen, which was about angels, things like that. And so I actually got really highly involved
bees or whatever,
in this Fortnite one and helped figure out what Kevin...
Was that an ARG thing?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Or I can have bees. It was something about bees.
So I got really involved in this ARG, and I think that's what they're doing well, is they're taking elements out of the game world, putting it into the real world, and then creating content that engages the younger audience, which is the breadth of their audience, but now some of the older people that used to play your Halo and Unreal Tournament and all of that type of stuff, they're finding their way into Fortnite, and once they learn the building mechanics, really start to dig in. At first, I was like, dude, what the hell is this game? I'm terrible at it.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly.
Especially with the building mechanics. 'Cause it's one thing to be like PUBG and just a straight shooter, but the building mechanics add a different layer to
the
it.
entire functionality of the game. I mean, once you learn how to build effectively, it can increase your longevity in any game tenfold. And so I may not be the greatest shooter, but I can build the hell out of it.
You can buy...
You build and...
you can protect yourself. No.
Yeah, Amber actually does the shooting. My wife is the better killer. I'm not even going to lie.
But yeah, you can at least buy yourself some time and build a structure around you, or build upwards, and then snipe from above. And
well, what you should do is you build
I'm
a big
badass
structure
sniper.
upwards, and
I'm
then you run away, and people think you're still up there.
But yeah. Oh, dude, what we like to do is I'm actually a bait. I'll run out and pick a fight with a whole group over at this other area, and then I run pretending like, oh crap, I was the only one. I thought you were the only one over there. And so I go running into like this the Haunted Hills area, and I jump over a fence, and then Amber and Helmar are sitting there waiting to pick off this whole team. And we've done this countless times. It's so fun.
Yeah.
Anyway,
all right.
So
But
that's
anything else?
Huh?
Anything else you're looking forward to, or is that pretty much it?
I mean, I spend a lot of my time between Rocket League and Fortnite,
Okay.
and I'm working on getting my way up to champ.
Nice.
And hopefully grand champ at some point. And
Keep us updated on that.
He's the multiplayer guy.
Yeah, we're more of a single player. I'm starting to get into multiplayer a little bit more. I'm a little more comfortable with it now than ever, but I still prefer single player.
We have about 30 people in our network that we game with.
Yeah.
So it's always a co-op game situation or something like that. But unless we're playing the asymmetrical co-op games.
Right. Yeah.
So we just got done trying out the Dead by Daylight series, and I think you guys have a little bit of experience.
Yeah, I dipped my toe into it around the time the Saw pack went.
Yeah,
just because I wanted to play as the Saw killer.
Of course, who doesn't?
And then I'm like, you know what?
Or Michael Myers.
I'm just going to go back and play the Saw video game because meh.
I love that.
So garbage.
That movie franchise.
Are you kidding me? The first Saw game is actually pretty good.
Both of them were garbage.
Yeah, I like the
hot
first
garbage.
Hey, didn't get a sequel because no reason.
We will agree to disagree here.
I'll come over there.
Agree to disagree.
Yes. But the theme especially I think it's going to continue in 2019 and in the inevitable future, is games like Fortnite, which are basically games of services. And that's why I think we're seeing the bigger maps in general. We talked about that earlier. I think the reason why we have bigger maps is because games of service, to have a game as a service and to keep people from coming, keep people coming back with new content, you have to have a large map. And
either that or, like in Fortnite, just an ever-evolving map.
That too, but
it evolves or you add to it.
You either detract and change it every once in a while so that it doesn't get stagnant, or you make it so massive that nobody can find their way through it.
Right. And that's what I'm working on right now. Is I'm playing Fallout 76. I'm a huge Fallout junkie.
Oh, amazing!
Not so much amazing. It's pretty rough. They took basically a traditional single player game. People that play that series are entrenched in the single player mindset. Now they're like, oh, we're opening up. It's multiplayer only.
Yeah.
It's MMO light, but the map is 4 times larger than Fallout 4. And Fallout 4 was already freaking huge. This map is 4 times larger, and it's set in West Virginia, so there's a lot of open space.
There's a lot of banjos.
Quick.
There are that.
Quick nod to all of my redneck fam out there in West Virginia. My family is from West Virginia. Not I, but they are. Boy, I tell you what.
But yeah,
that pretty mouth.
Boy, you sure do got a pretty mouth.
It's funny because there are players, I've ran into players already, who are RPing as like
just straight up
Deliverance style. It's amusing.
You gotta kind of love that. I mean, that's kind of where like those memes like
the
way.
Well, especially
that's how it gets started.
Yeah, exactly.
If what you're saying, the game's kind of subpar. It's like you gotta have fun with it.
Well, it's subpar, I think, partly
you
because
add to it.
It doesn't know what the hell it wants to be because it's a multiplayer MMO light game. But if you try to kill someone, it only takes like 5% of the health each time.
Yeah.
Unless they accept the duel, which is a flawed premise because if you shoot someone...
It's the old flag mentality.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
If you initiate the duel, 9 times out of 10, you're going to die in that duel. Because if you initiate and they accept, all they have to do is shoot back. What I can do is I can pull out my shotgun, put some... I think it's Psycho in this version that ups your attack. Shotgun blast the head, you're dead in 1 or 2 hits. So it's kind of an imbalanced, unfair.
In a duel setting? Like, what is the typical rules of engagement in that setting?
The rules of engagement are, I shoot first to initiate the duel. You have to shoot back to accept.
So in your shooting back, you can load the
Before
Psycho.
Before I even shoot back, I can buff, pull out my best gun, shoot you back, kill you, and you have no chance. So
wow, that's kind of flawed.
Well, it gets even better. This game has been made on an engine that has been around since 2003 with Elder Scrolls 3, the Morrowind, I think.
Morrowind.
Yeah. That was Morrowind engine.
The best one.
Wow.
Yeah, so every Bethesda game since then, first person, has been using that engine, and it's showing its age. It's horrible. The glitches are horrible. I'm running into enemies that are basically T-posing the whole time. Like their arms are stretched out like Jesus. They're T-posing, and they're coming at me. I hear
nuclear Jesus.
Like, I'm not shitting you.
It.
It's insane because they're attacking me, but I can't see it, and I'm like, okay, this is kind of weird. Like,
so you're getting shot while they're just sitting there.
They're just T-posing. Yeah,
it's like the one enemies from Wolfenstein 3D. They're T-posing, but the bullets are coming out of their chest.
Yes,
not even that good. You don't see any bullets. You don't see any attacks.
You don't see the flash.
There's no point of origin or anything.
No
bloom from
no
the weapon. Wow.
Yeah. And it's funny because they have God rays in there, and sometimes God rays are shooting out of the ground. You're like, what the fuck? And then they just disappear. Like, look up the YouTube videos because the glitches are hilarious. But unfortunately, I mean, this is going to be the same engine that Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be running on, and Starfield. So,
well, and let's be honest.
I don't know about the future of Bethesda.
People do love Fallout. However, every Fallout game since 3 has been riddled with glitches. They always patch it out.
No, this is worse. This is way worse. There's a mission with a ticket booth and it happened to me too. I have to wait till they patch it out. it disappears.
Mm.
You can't continue. You can't continue that mission, which is the main quest line.
So it completely disappears.
It disappears.
You can't continue.
You can't continue.
I had something like that happen to me in Mass Effect Andromeda, where one of the items you're supposed to pick up disappeared, and I'm like, well, I'm not completing that quest.
It gets even better. Wow. There's a place called the Mire. If you go in there, for some people, it crashes their game. And when they try to load it back up, since it automatically saves there. There are no manual saves. It's all automatic saves.
Oh, really? You can't even go back.
You can't even,
Wow. So you can't even set a prior save point.
No, they have to start a whole new character because they're in this perpetual loop of loading, crashing, loading, crashing, loading, It's complete garbage. And
that sucks.
I'm really disappointed in it, but I'm going to stick it out because I think
hopefully they'll patch.
In 2019, I think this game is going to look totally different than it did launch.
It's like what you were saying earlier with No Man's Sky. When No Man's Sky launched, it was a hot steaming pile.
Yeah, now it's
However,
decent.
A year or two later, or actually I think we're 3 years?
We're 3 years in.
It's actually kind of what they promised at launch. It's like, you had to wait, you had to stick it out, but now it's a little bit better.
It's better. Yeah, and I'm hoping that happens with Fallout, but with all the glitches they've had in Elder Scrolls, in Dishonored, Dishonored was better, but...
Yeah.
Let's put it this way. I don't have faith in Bethesda because...
Let's be honest. If they're not partnered with id, who cares?
I have a
It's getting to that point.
It's getting there. Biased opinion, at least on Bethesda, because I went to school with half the kids that ended up becoming
working
the animators
there.
Over there, and so I know their heart is in it.
From
it's the
definitely,
modeling aspect. And
it's definitely not them. I don't want to make it sound like because a lot of people,
it's
they
the
complain about
it and the engine that it's developed on.
Well, and a lot of it. I mean, it's with any business out there. It comes from the directors.
It comes from the top down.
They're pushing that schedule. It's like you have to have it ready. I don't care. I don't care if it's glitchy.
This is more on Todd Howard than anyone else.
After they found the initial success with Fallout, they started thinking, okay, we have that fanatic base that we can now just
they basically
drop something new and get a massive influx.
That's exactly what this is.
It became Bethesda's whorehouse of Fallout.
Right, and then that happened with what Konami, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we've got a similar type of situation.
Metal Gear Survive.
Exactly, and we kind of know where that's headed.
Yeah. Oh, we'll talk about it here in a second. But since we're talking about Bethesda, and I just mentioned it, oh man, next year's going to be Doom.
Yeah.
This year's Doom.
God, I can't wait.
I'm really excited about that.
Oh, I love Doom. There has not been a year since the original came out that I haven't replayed through the original.
So
I played the original game all the way through every year.
And to be clear, not Doom 2016, but Doom Classic.
Yeah.
Doom. And then when they added on Thy Flesh Consumed, I added that to it. So I have played Ultimate Doom every year.
I have a special place in my heart for Doom. And it may not be the reason that people think. When I was in middle school, I dabbled with being able to get into places on computers that I shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
We'll put it that way. Okay, I got suspended because I got into the school's mainframe and put Doom on every single computer, so I could play it in any room I wanted to.
Funny you say that because at my high school we had someone like you, but he did Unreal Tournament.
See, I never did it in high school or anything younger, but in college, Purdue gave everybody their own network drive.
Yeah.
So what I did is I installed a GoldenEye ROM onto my network drive. So anytime I went to classes, I was sitting there and I'd boot up GoldenEye and I just play GoldenEye all day.
We did that with Unreal Tournament in college. We were any room we were in, didn't matter. We were playing that, despite the fact that the IT guy kept changing the password. He would make it stuff like person 01, person 02. Person 03. Then it became his birthday. Then it became his daughter's birthday. And we're like, bro,
the worst passwords to pick.
We've already told him exactly how we were getting into the network, and he still didn't listen, and would create the crappiest passwords.
It's above his pay grade.
Exactly.
That's at my current job. We used to play Doom at lunchtime. We played Doom for a little bit, and then we'd play Descent.
So for us, it was.
And then now we can't do it because
it was Unreal Tournament and Smash Brothers, Super Smash Brothers, all the way. We used to have some massive tournaments. Oh, man,
Smash Brothers Melee.
That takes me back, dude.
I'm just so looking forward to the new.
Yes,
it's gonna be great.
I hope it's good. I'm sure it will be good. I don't care.
Oh,
I even like Doom 3. I mean, that's the stinky turd.
That's
of
the worst.
It's not even a stinky turd. It's just the bastard child of the series. But it's still good.
But with the duct tape mod or with Doom 3 BFG edition with the flashlight attached, it's way better.
I have both editions installed. I have BFG edition and I have the original version, because the original version I have a mod where you can play through the Event Horizon story, only it's with Doom monsters. So rather than it messing with your mind with like a little kid running around, like an imp will show up. So it is literally the full ship of Event Horizon, just Doom. And you can't play that on the BFG version. I've tried pushing the mod over to that.
I did not know that.
It doesn't take for whatever reason, but it's beautiful.
Nice. Yeah, I didn't know that either. That's really cool tidbit. I might have to. But yeah, let's shift gears a little more here. We touched on games as services, what we're looking forward to. Let's shift even more into the future. I mean, 2019, we're going to see the start of this streaming.
Yeah. Streaming from within the game, you mean? Or
no, and it's
Project Stream and Project Scarlet. Microsoft with Project Scarlet is working on a solution for streaming games of services.
And that's kind of already out there with like PlayStation Now and some of that,
which is funny because PlayStation Now
it's still partially downloads.
Yeah, but Project Stream from Google just came out with Assassin's Creed Odyssey. You can play it in your Google browser. You have to be a part of I don't know if it's still in beta or not, but anyway, the whole game is streamed,
and it still looks
1080p.
Like you customize the graphical settings on your machine?
I don't think so for right now. Because
it's locked at their settings.
It's locked at their settings, but it's impressive still because it's on their computer on a server projecting to your computer through the cloud, 1080p streaming through a Google Chrome browser.
Mm-hmm.
You would have told me that a year ago, I'd have been like, you're out of your damn mind. Now
it's a lot of network traffic.
It is, and from what because I'm not wasn't in the beta, and I don't really have any interest to do it, but. From what I've seen from the people that I watch streaming, very minimal hiccup in frame rate, very minimal pop-in. So it looks like we're getting there. And with Microsoft, with their Azure Cloud Network, they are coming up with Project Scarlet, which is the rumored next family of Xbox systems. One is rumored to be, full disc tray, what we know and love about consoles currently. The other one is a set-top box that will stream games, not even download. Straight up streaming. So you pay them a service fee, stream as many games you want that month. That's the rumor. Don't know how true that is. I can definitely see that happening, especially with PlayStation Now being a thing. Xbox Game Pass is a thing. EA has their EA...
What, Origins?
It's Origin.
It begs the question on how that's going to affect the microtransaction market, because largely that's how most of the companies make their money now.
Yeah.
Not even with DLC anymore, but just straight up microtransactions within the game.
And it's interesting because, with how Netflix, and we see on the TV show movie side, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, HBO, so on and so forth, how is the game industry going to handle it? Because things on those channels go away. Right. So do we have... Because that's going to kind of suck if things can go away on these services as well, because...
Well, if
you don't get to it, you miss out.
If you don't truly own the game. That's what I worry about.
Well, I mean...
Which most gamers probably don't care, because it's like, play it, get rid of it. And even I play it and I move on, but I still would like to go back to it. When I'm an old man and I'm tired of buying the new shit, I want to go back and play my old stuff.
Oh, same here.
I do like the idea of the subscription-based service, because that's one of the things that prevents me from playing a lot of the other games on Steam.
Yeah.
Is you either have to catch it during a Humble Bundle, or you have to buy one game and then invest into its DLC to get caught up with everybody else and things like that. So the subscription service makes sense for people that aren't buying multiple games at a time, and gives you more access to different types of titles and stuff like that. So that is
true.
Somewhat appealing from that thought.
Oh no, it's from a budget perspective, it's going to save people a lot of money.
I still prefer, personally, to pick one game, especially skill-based games.
Yeah.
I think that's where I find myself most drawn. You guys like a lot of the campaigns and mission-style things.
Yeah, epic
story.
I love story.
I am a complete noob at this. Let me spend some time, get a better skill set, and then actually dominate other players.
The progression of your character and how you get better over time.
Yeah. But I didn't know even that was a thing.
Yeah. The rumor is, again, preface this rumor, take it with a huge grain of salt, but the things that are leaking out, Project Scarlet, thank you, Fry, for Xbox, supposedly PlayStation 5 might be announced 2019, expect to launch 2020, and there's rumor, discless. And not discless, they're going to have discs too, but there is rumor that, again, PlayStation Now may be a bigger focus, and PlayStation Now maybe get an upgrade to be able to handle streaming. Because right now it's kind of...
I do know that within the video game industry, generally, most of the people that I know at the studios and at the big developing companies and everything like that are talking about moving away from discs in general.
Oh yeah, digital download is
not even because they don't want people to buy discs, but it's because of the environmental impact.
Yeah,
they go and they print out all of these cases, all of the
true, but at the same time,
collectors will still want
them, but I think that's a almost a convenient excuse. I mean, kind of is, kind of isn't. It's a valid point to make, but
it's a way for them to actually make more money.
They're going to make more money off that digital copy.
Exactly, they can rake in the same amount without having.
And
to
on
pay
PC
back
especially, because that's been digital download for years now. We're starting to see that because the same case can be made there. It's like, well, why not put everything on Steam? Well, Steam takes 30% cut.
Exactly.
So everyone's making their own launch.
We're dealing with that ourselves with some of the content that we're creating here. And so we have to, because we're certified to develop for Microsoft, for Sony, for we're Steam greenlit. We have a lot of the platform is covered.
Everybody wants a cut.
And everybody wants a cut. Yep. And so by the end of it, we're lucky to break even.
Exactly.
Really on our costs.
Which is why microtransactions, as much as I have warmed up on them more now than I have before. It depends how
they are.
Yeah, it depends how they're handled. I think Overwatch does a good job with it because it's all cosmetic. It's not essential.
That and Fortnite are good.
Yeah,
Battlefront was a horrendous pile of...
We don't talk about Battlefront.
I picked it up.
Oh, Star Wars Battlefront
2. Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
They locked a lot of progression.
They screwed up so much.
Yeah, because I think Fortnite, the big positive it showed was, hey, our microtransactions are optional, and people are still buying them.
And it changes nothing about how you can play.
Exactly.
It changes absolutely nothing about how you can play. It broke the play-to-win meta that had been established for so long.
Yeah, which is what needed to happen, because play-to-win is horseshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny
or
because...
Or even play to progress. Some of the things that you have with Battle Pass and things like that. Because part of Battle Pass is that you can unlock extra XP for both you and your friends. Well, when you gain extra XP, you unlock more things. It still doesn't change the gameplay or your ability to win or anything like that, but it does give you significant advantages over other people who did not participate.
See, I'm okay with...
And now Rocket League has that with the Rocket Pass as well.
I'm okay with pay for progression outside multiplayer. It was an argument I heard years ago, actually from one of the Rooster Teeth guys, where he said, he's like, hey, if you're playing with a kid doesn't necessarily want to play the game for 20 hours to grind if I can pay $2 and unlock all the characters for them, that's okay. And actually, I'm okay
that's
with
fine.
that.
I think that's a great model.
For single player, that's great.
Yeah.
For multiplayer, it is a little awkward. It's like, you know.
I think it depends, again, based on the age of the player.
I actually think if you want to do that, you make it a high price.
For the extra
so it's
content?
Well, if you want to progress higher or faster than everyone else, like rather than $1 or $2, like maybe it's $5 a pop. It's like if you want to progress quicker, you're going to pay for it.
Well, so okay, Hi-Rez tried that with Smite after Tribes because they first tried to implement it in Tribes Ascend,
like a $5
with like
tier.
If you pay this, you can unlock this type of loadout for your characters.
Okay.
Otherwise, you have to grind
Yeah.
to get that loadout. And so we were like, screw that, I'm just going to grind it, right? Like, I'll get better in the process. I'll play these light armor classes until I can unlock the heavy armor classes. And then
I think most people would be that way if you price it correctly. If you price it high, it's like, okay, well, then the whales will buy it because they're more about the fun of wiping someone lower level.
But at that point, it was still pay to win because when those people were buying those bigger packages and things like that, they would walk into a match and pretty much dominate it because nobody else could really deal with them.
Yeah. Well, I guess they don't do a great job of it, but maybe more and more companies need to instance themselves based on level.
Well, and they also they tried to emulate a lot of what League of Legends was doing with unlocking.
And League kind of started all this.
They really did. Unlocking additional champions and things like that. I mean, there's something to be said for the variety of play, but that was also kind of a play-to-win scenario, or pay-to-win scenario as well. Oh, yeah,
definitely.
Because you could grind out different champs and stuff like that, but, I mean, to unlock, some of the newer champs with a lot of the newer functionality and stuff like that, or the game mechanics, you had to pay for them. And they were expensive. I mean, you're talking, I think, $20 to $25 for a single champ at some points.
Jeez.
And that's you didn't even necessarily know a lot of times if you wanted to play that character. You just had to kind of wait until the free rotation came around for you to try it and to decide if you wanted to. I mean,
some companies do
so
that.
much money into League of Legends.
Some companies do it in reverse. Tecmo, where they do it in reverse, where it's high prices for no gameplay added, where it's just costumes.
Yeah.
Like, I am a huge Dead or Alive fan.
Fighting games do that a lot.
But it's like, oh, you want their quote-unquote Season 1, just costume pack. It's $70. Well, there's like 7 of them now for DOA 5, and it's like, so that game by itself is like $300, $400 to get all the costumes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And all it is costumes. There's no gameplay added.
Yeah, and see, that's
it's
where...
like, this is the reverse. This is bullshit.
Yeah, and I think companies... It's weird because even the movie industry isn't that greedy. Because, games...
Are you
games
sure?
Are, yes. All right. Let's put it this way. Let's put it this way.
Yes and no.
When was the last time I had to pop in a movie and pay extra for deleted scenes or pay extra from... I get games cost way more to make now than ever, but if movies can have a, $100 million budget and still make money without that kind of practice, games are considerably more expensive.
Though it does go back to another argument.
You're also talking about volume of consumption.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
On a single IP.
You're talking about 2.5 hours.
Yeah, right. A movie comes out and it goes to all of these theaters worldwide at the same exact time. So there's a limited opportunity to engage with that intellectual property. So you go, you spend your money, you get your ticket, watch the movie.
Right.
Then
it's just an afternoon of your time.
Exactly. Versus a video game that is designed to keep you compelled to sit there and keep playing, they have to overcome 2 barriers. Number one is nobody wants to pay for video games anymore. At all. They really just want the free-to-play game, and then if they want to invest in it, that's the trend that we're seeing. Really.
For the casuals.
For the casuals. Yeah. I'm a filthy cash.
Yeah. Well, I would say casuals.
I'm okay with paying $60. I mean, last week I paid $100 for Hitman 2 because I wanted every possible thing. It's all the expansions plus I get it early.
And now I grew up paying and knowing that I had to pay between $40 to $60 for a hard copy of the game that I would go home and play. When they started introducing the concept of DLC, and then you had to pay the $40 for the disc, and then $10 to $15 or more for the DLC.
Well,
that's where the mentality
it definitely
of the
has to
consumer changed.
It definitely has to be a game I really like for me to want it. Like with Hitman, I paid the full package because I know I'm going to play it.
Right.
Yeah.
But there was something that came out, earlier this year. I can't even think of what it was, but I remember seeing on the store, it was like, the DLC's out. I'm like, yeah, I don't care. I played through the main game. I'm done. I can't even remember what the game was because I was just like, I'm done with it.
When were you playing it?
Early 2018, so I have no idea.
God of War?
No, that was...
I haven't 100%ed God of War. I played through the story, I beat it, and then there was all the I think I had 2 Valkyries
I remember
left.
you telling me about
and I was just like...
God of War doesn't have DLC.
To hell with it. I was like...
I didn't know.
I was like, the Valkyries weren't too much story-based, and I'm like, to hell with it.
I just knew that he didn't complete it, so I thought that might have been the one he was talking about.
It was around that time. There was something that came out, and I was like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care about the DLC. I know I definitely didn't pick up the DLC for Nier. Last year, there was a DLC where
DLC came out for
they added one boss fight that was like ridiculously hard, and I'm just like, I'm not paying $5 for it. I'm done with this game. I platinumed it. I'm done. I do that a lot. It's like once I platinum it or something, I'm like, to me, I'm done. I don't need more unless it was really good.
Yeah, for me, and I kind of had that with Spider-Man. That was the first game in a long time that I'm like, I'm going to get everything, and I 100% it, got the platinum. But I'm going to go for 100% on the New Game Plus, and then the City That Never Sleeps DLC package.
I'll do New Game Plus probably later when I replay it through it for fun. But I don't want to do it immediately because I don't want to get burnt out on it.
True, you don't want to,
because
that game's so good, though.
I think City That Never Sleeps is the end of it, but
it is.
Just in case they go, here's a secret 4th DLC.
No, I think they're going to start
working on 2.
Pre-production on 2 because there's no way Insomniac is not starting immediately on 2 because that game is the best-selling PlayStation exclusive of all time now. Spider-Man made more money than God of War even. I think God of War broke that record earlier that year. Yeah. Spider-Man broke that record.
Well, Spider-Man's more accessible. God of War is great.
Well,
but God of War is also mature, whereas Spider-Man's teen, so even younger
I don't think that even has to do with it. I think more of it is Marvel is in such the zeitgeist of pop culture right now that people saw Spider-Man, Marvel branding on PlayStation. Boom.
Yeah.
Instant winner there.
And the weird thing is even though it doesn't take place in the MCU, it touches on it. Like it's kind of like, well, it's 8 years into his career, so maybe it happened. I don't know.
Well, Spider-Man,
the suit shows up. The Tony Stark suit and the Infinity War suit,
but those aren't canon. But
I know
it is going to be part of a shared game universe. It was supposed to start with, I believe, Guardians. Well, Guardians is kind of its own thing. It's out in space, so that could still technically be there.
The studio's kind of shut down.
Yeah, Telltale is no more, so that kind of threw a wrench into things. But there's this Avengers game.
Because I wanted the Batman 3.
Yeah, but
Batman 2 was good.
Yeah, it was decent. But back on the Spider-Man Marvel game universe, they call it, I guess, or the Gamerverse.
Marvel Game Universe?
I think it's called the Marvel Gamerverse.
It's the Marvel Universe 201999997. I don't know. Look it up on the Marvel Wiki. It does have a number that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because the movie, I think the movie universe is 10999.
Yeah.
Something like that.
No, it's 1099.
Yeah, 1099. Yeah, it's something.
That's the original.
So the game verse, I think, is something like that too, where it's like some.
But I think the second canon game in this Gamerverse is Crystal Dynamics' Avengers game, which we still have no idea what that's going to be about. They just, they released some more info about it, so we'll see what happens.
Well, it's going to be figuring out how to bring back. No.
Well, so the whole game's going to be about these guys and their Earth's mightiest heroes. You know.
No shit.
What?
It's only called the Avengers. No.
Well, it could be about some redhead and some doaf with an umbrella. I don't know.
Doof with an umbrella.
It could be a game with Ray
Crossover potential there.
So I wanted to bring up something else in 2019 that I think is going to be a big trend that isn't necessarily about video games or their content, but actually the currency. And it's a concept called a universal game currency. You may have heard of this, may not have.
I have not.
There was a company called, I think it's TAP, I think it's just referred to as the TAP project. So they did a crowdfunding campaign and they raised a ton of Ethereum for this concept. And the concept is a blockchain technology, kind of like Bitcoin or Ethereum or anything like that, that you can then use to purchase in-game content, i.e. DLC, skins, things like that. The point being that, again, people are tired of spending their own money, but they will work to earn this other in-game currency.
Oh, so while you're playing the game, you earn taps.
I don't know. I don't know the specifics of it.
If while you're playing the game, you can earn the currency, that would be the way to do it. I'd be all over that shit because I'd have a shitload of taps.
Yeah. That would definitely cut down on my DLC buying.
So it's supposed to be... first off, they're awaiting a patent.
Oh, okay. So this is kind of a wait and see.
Yeah.
They're going to be fighting with those paranormal fuckers.
they mentioned the patent, I think back in April. Was the first time that they were talking about, okay, well, we're trying to patent this technology and everything like that. So they ran the Kickstarter or crowdfunding. I don't know if it was a Kickstarter or not. They got a ton of Ethereum for it. And then they started talking about how they can use the blockchain technology that everybody has come to start to understand to allow you to interact with any game. And I think this is going to be something that we see moving forward is because, you walk into a store, Target, Walmart, any of these places, you can find cards for League of Legends. You can find cards for Rocket League. All of the content.
All of the currencies.
But it's each individually crafted currency for those games. So this is designed, and they're talking with a lot of the studios and everything like that, about being able to build an additional currency into some of these games that will allow you to use this tap currency to buy that content.
Okay, so it's not trying to replace all the currencies. It's just another option for people.
Again, this is stuff that I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I said,
from elsewhere in the industry.
If you can earn it by playing, I'd be more interested.
Yeah.
I'll be more interested.
I would love to do. I mean, because I've got over 3,000 hours in Rocket League.
You would have so much content because of that.
Because if you're just paying money, like Bitcoin, you're just paying money for another type of currency. It's basically investing.
It's just a currency exchange.
Yeah, it's a currency exchange, and you're investing
to
increase.
I know that it's designed to work a little bit like that walking currency. I don't remember what it was called. It's a currency where for as many steps as you take a day, you earn a certain percentage of
that's a way of doing it.
Currencies.
You got to have a way to earn. Otherwise, it's just an exchange, and who cares?
Right.
So, I mean, that's why a lot of those cryptocurrencies failed. They showed up and they failed because
it just becomes another investment.
If no one invests in
speculation.
Yeah.
If no one invests in it, then it just goes bubble up and you've lost your money.
Right.
Now, would this tap be PC only, or would it also include consoles?
I don't know.
Yeah, because if they go across console, obviously the company's going to want to share.
Yeah.
They're talking about including Unity and Unreal plugins, POS drip bonus, platform APIs, smart contract core.
A lot of PC stuff.
Yeah, so it sounds
like it's more
mostly
PC.
based.
But if you pilot it on that, if it catches off,
PC's like the incubator of the gaming industry. All the innovative stuff is going to happen there first, then come the consoles. So if this takes off, this could be in the foreseeable future for PlayStation 5.
And so they're talking about 2019 for the general June 2019 for the
general
release of this whole concept. Again, providing the patent goes through and everything like that. But what I want to make sure that why I'm bringing this up now is we're talking about the current state of gaming, the future of gaming, everything like that. And I think that we're going to see a push more into a lot of these digital technologies and digital currencies, and that's going to affect how we buy the game first and foremost. So, I mean, if you have enough of this tap built up, maybe you can buy a whole new game.
That'd be awesome.
Right?
Taking that, like you were talking about playing Red Dead, that game is huge and takes a huge commitment to beat. So if you got all the way through it, say you actually got like 90 to 100% of that game done, it's like, well, you put in a lot of effort. Here you go. Here's a tap. Go buy a game. That would be awesome.
If that happens, I could see myself focusing only on a couple games and trying to do every single thing in them. Because that means, not free games, but...
That's what I did with GTA 5.
Close to it.
For the most part, I didn't do a lot of the online stuff, but the single player, man, I mopped that shit up. I did all the subs, all the alien artifacts. I did all that, and it's like, okay, I feel like that would earn me maybe another DLC or a game. It's like, depending on how much time, like what Lance was saying, he's got 3,000, 30,000 hours in Rocket.
3,000.
I thought you said 30.
No,
it was 3.
Are you kidding me?
I don't know. That beard looking pretty scraggly over there.
Listen.
No.
Listen.
I don't think... Has that game's probably been out for 30,000 hours, but still, that's insane.
Putting in that amount of time,
I think
you have earned another game.
My beard scraggle.
Yeah.
Okay. Does not have anything to do.
Sure.
I just don't care.
Yeah. But say, if you put in that amount of time in a game, you should earn at least another game. Just go, I'm done with this one. Moving on to the next one.
Or even a ton of other stuff within the game.
Yeah.
Without having to pay for it. I don't know.
Or maybe you get a
game.
couple older games. Rather than you can pay one for one new game, or maybe one for 5 old games.
I wish they would release or re-release the Super Acrobatic
Rocket Powered Battle Cars.
Yes, that.
See, that's why I never got into Rocket League, because I played the first one with Alex, and I'm like, I've played it. It was basically I played it. I got my enjoyment out of the first one.
Yeah, but it's skill based, and so the game.
But I played it. I'm done. But things like Quake Arena and I still play Counter-Strike Source.
I will. Oh my god, really?
Oh yeah, I'll whoop your ass in gun game, boy.
I don't doubt it. That's why even in Tribes Ascend, I was never the gunner. I was the flag capper. I could run routes and move faster than everybody else.
One thing, especially in the Source engine, which is why I get really good in Source games, is no matter how far someone's away, it doesn't matter. The head is always on the same plane.
Okay,
so if you
real quick,
so you can just do headshot if you never move your mouse up and down.
So real quick, I just brought up some information on tap just because I wanted to have a little bit more solidity to what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So digital tokens in gaming emerged before Tap's project idea, but on the other hand, Tap project differs from the crowd because it provides gamers with the opportunity to monetize their gaming. In-game earnings will no longer have to be only used within the game itself, as they can now be exchanged, imported, and exported to the blockchain and converted into Tap coins, an ERC20 token on the Tap platform. So they're going to have their own platform,
so it's like
which is currently available in its alpha development phase.
So it's like a job.
That's
throughout the week. You
that's
can play
pretty
Fortnite.
Fucking savage.
Yeah, that's.
Throughout the week, you can play
Fortnite,
changer. And then on the weekend, you can use all your little blockchain money and go play your little porn games.
Speaking from experience,
yeah, Fry.
Maybe
I've played House Party. That's the only one that I know about. That's the only one I play.
I
think that provides a provocative change to the whole video game landscape.
If that happens, that's going to be a game changer.
It needs to happen.
Permanent game changer.
Yeah.
I like that idea a lot.
Yeah. Well, while we, wait on the future and see if these things come to fruition in 2019 or maybe even beyond.
Maybe a little bit later. Who knows?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Who knows? This could be the start of a new era of gaming.
Yeah.
But I think,
or it could be the end, and in 2020 it's another crash.
yeah,
And then we got to wait till 2025 for Nintendo to revitalize it again.
That would rely on a lot of people jumping
That'd be
on
a
the
lot
platform, the platform
Yeah.
not being ready to handle it, because a technology like this, not everybody's going to adopt. I'm an early adopter, so I'll be probably all over this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, as we, await these changes in the industry, we'll see how many we get right and how many we get wrong, and how this all shapes out. But we want to thank you for listening to the N3rd podcast. If you enjoyed this show, check us out on our YouTube channel. That is N3rd HEARD. And if you liked it, if you didn't like it, leave us feedback or constructive criticism. We will definitely use that to improve in the future. But
leave a bunch of those little kissy faces.
Or anything
Those
you
are called
want us to
emojis.
say on air, like that movie guy.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, we'll
The honest trailers.
I know
Yeah.
what you're saying.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
No, but just, leave us some comments and feedback.
Yeah.
And definitely, if there's anything you specifically want to hear us talk about, or
hit
definitely.
us up there.
yeah, leave us a message.
Yeah, definitely.
Until next time, N3rd out.